want to get right into talking about this envisioning, the power of envisioning and transitioning. So talk to us a little bit about what that means.
Envisioning an empowerment for your child means at a very young age, making sure that they know that you have an idea of what their future is going to be.
Love that.
The reason I talk so much about it, and I think it's so important, is because when I was a teacher in the classroom in LA Unified School District for 10 years, I had 3rd through 5th graders. That was my first class. 3rd through moderate to severe students with autism. Limited language, we had a lot of the classic characteristics of autism. And what I found was when I would ask the parent, well, where do you see your child in 10 years? Because we should do that as a parent. We should have an idea of where we want to guide our child. And many of the parents would say, oh, I hadn't thought about that. And I would say, well, why not? I mean, here they are, you've got a child, you have 2 children. You have one child over here, she's 12. You have another child over here, he's 8. And someone says, oh, wow, he seems like a bright little guy. And you say, oh, yes, he is. And my daughter's going to go to Princeton and be an attorney. She's so bright. We love, And what about your son? Oh, well, not so much. This child is here. He knows what he's seeing. He's hearing. Everything's about the sister, but what about me? So early on, he gets the idea that, well, no one's expecting anything from me. No one's setting a bar and asking me to come up to it. No one sees a vision for me. Why would I see a vision for myself? And then we ask them at an ITP when they're 14 in the state of California, 16 federally, nationally. Well, what do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, because that's a federal mandate, an ITP plan. Well, hadn't really thought about it. At 14, hadn't really thought about it. In a neurotypical home, we're talking about this child who's going to Princeton and going to be this attorney since they're 6. Just because they're telling everyone what to do. So why aren't we finding something to empower this child who's on the spectrum? If they love painting, well, maybe they're going to be an artist. It doesn't matter. Many of us, I mean, come on, let's face it. You're 8 years old. And you say, I'm going to be an attorney. What are the odds? What are the stats on that?
We change our minds, and it's okay. But you have to have something to work towards.
Yes, this child has to have the same empowering envisionment from his parents in order for him to be empowered. Because look, we want our kids to go out, have job opportunities, and have community opportunities, fall in love, have a home, have a life. And if we don't, there's something wrong with us. That's what we should want for our children, all of our kids.
And do you think I'm taking this in as a parent, and I'm remembering when my son was diagnosed, and what I felt like was that all of those possibilities got taken away from me. And I love what you're talking about, because it's almost as if it gives it back to the family and gives it back to the child.
People took it away from you, like doctors.
Yes, they did.
Well,
who knows what's going to happen?
This is the doom and gloom that I always talk about. It's like we don't need to wear the doom and gloom cap. We got to get rid of all that stuff. It's not doom and gloom. And we know with early intervention, you were even speaking about a child who didn't speak, and the tunnel child. And there he was at, 24, married and talking. And look at Kaufman, Sunrise. He's a perfect example. So we know that with early intervention, many of our children make progress, and they're able to have jobs, fall in love, be married, have a home. And that's what we should see for our children, all of our kids. Because that child is hearing what you're saying. And he's getting the impression that there's nothing for me. There's nothing out there for me. Wow, it's all about, I guess no one has any kind of a hope or envisionment for me.
I love this.
And it's wrong.
It is wrong.
And the teacher needs to have a vision for the child. The parent needs to have it. The siblings need. We can't continue to sit back and look at autism like doom and gloom, because it's not.